Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, 2:25 on the East Coast, 11:25 on the West Coast. If you were watching us a bit earlier here on Live Now from Fox, you did actually see as Secretary for the DHS, Kristi Noem was interrupted as she was addressing a crowd of reporters there. If you missed it, I do want to play that for you once again from this angle.
Continue to sustain and increase our operations in this city. We are not going away. We are staying here to liberate this city from the socialist and the burdensome leadership that this governor and that this mayor have placed on this country and what they have tried to insert into this city. So I want to say thank you to every single person that has been able to do this. Also, I want to talk specifically to the rioters and to the politicians in Los Angeles.
A half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your
I also want to talk about specifically how many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty.
And again, that was a portion there as we did see that interruption. And we have now learned the identity of the person from Fox's Bill Melugin. It was Senator Alex Padilla, a Democrat from California, who has been very vocal on all of this. And we do have that video right here on your screen from Bill from a different angle. Take a look and listen here.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
All right, so a pretty quick video right there coming in from Bill Melugin at Fox News as he was there and got video from a different angle of Senator Padilla as he did interrupt that news conference, and you could hear him screaming. But again, that is a closer look there. Now, all of this is related to what you're looking at right here on your screen. The protests over, in some cases, actually escalating into riots there in Los Angeles and the surrounding area. California Governor Gavin Newsom and LA Mayor Karen Bass continue to criticize President Trump's decision to send the National Guard and the Marines there to Southern California, saying that it has escalated the situation. President Trump, however, saying Los Angeles would burn without that assistance. Now, the protests are in response to a series of deportation raids across LA County in areas with a fairly large immigration population. The Migration Policy Institute does report that an estimated 950,000 people in LA County do not have legal immigration status, and that is about 10% of the population. All of the confrontations did begin Friday when dozens of protesters gathered outside of a federal detention center demanding the release of more than 40 people arrested by federal immigration authorities across LA. President Trump says he had to federalize the troops to address the lawlessness, while Governor Newsom called the order a, quote, complete overreaction that was purposely inflammatory and will only escalate tensions, end quote. Again, this is some of the video coming in from our Fox 11 LA team as we did get a view from several different angles.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. You guys have some questions. I'm going to read a brief statement. I will not be taking questions, but allow me to read my statement. I'm here in Los Angeles today, and I was here in the federal building, in the conference room, awaiting a scheduled briefing from federal officials as part of my responsibility as a senator to provide oversight and accountability. While I was waiting for the briefing with General Guillot, I learned that Secretary Noem was having a press conference a couple of doors down the hall. Since the beginning of the year, but especially over the course of recent weeks, several of my colleagues have been asking the Department of Homeland Security for more information and more answers on their increasingly extreme immigration enforcement actions. And we've gotten little to no information in response to our inquiries. And so I came to the press conference to hear what she had to say, to see if I could learn any new additional information. And at one point, I had a question. And let me emphasize, just as we've emphasized the right for people to peacefully protest and to stand up for their First Amendment rights, for our fundamental rights. I was there peacefully. At one point, I had a question. And so I began to ask a question. I was almost immediately forcibly removed from the room. I was forced to the ground, and I was handcuffed. I was not arrested. I was not detained. I will say this. If this is how this administration responds to a senator with a question, if this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers out in the Los Angeles community and throughout California and throughout the country. We will hold this administration accountable.